Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the thing was when they were feuding on Twitter was I remembered I was pretty sure that Omega was a guest on Jericho's podcast at some point, like last year.
Within the last 6 months, and he kind of gave him the proverbial, good job. Yeah,
put him over.
Yeah, okay. yes, he put him over. Yes, you're right.
So I didn't really know what the end game was, and then to hear the announcement at one of the New Japan shows that Jericho had appeared on screen in a video and challenged Omega to a match at Wrestle Kingdom in January was not something that I think anybody was expecting. So, Jericho, I don't know the backstory behind it, obviously, other the stuff that I've read the zillion different things, but I guess the idea was Jericho had this idea, and then he kind of floated it through somebody, maybe I think it was Don Callis, maybe, in New Japan, and then he brought it up to Omega, and they started trying to work it out, and then it ended up being where they agreed to do a one-off at Wrestle Kingdom, and Jericho is not under contract to WWE or anywhere else, so he's free to do whatever he wants.
I can't love this anymore for a couple of reasons. A, as much as I love Okada and Omega, it takes Omega and Okada Part 4 off of the table. It's something fresh for Kenny Omega. It's a fresh face in New Japan. And like you said about Jericho keeping things quiet, I don't know what the hell they do over there in New Japan, but for them to not... For this to get nowhere, to not be leaked, and for them to have Shibata return at the end of the G1 and that not get leaked, they do a really, really good job of keeping that stuff under wraps. And I think it's because pro wrestling is looked at a lot differently over there, and there's more of a prestige to it, I guess. As far as the match, I have no doubts it'll be a great match. I think if Jericho's style, he definitely moves it much slower than he used to, but he also changed his style. Like you said, he adapts and he reinvents himself. And Omega's had matches with guys, just like him, right around his age. He even had a good match with Suzuki, which is damn near impossible. But I like the story leading up to it, and I thought, did you see the clip?
Yes.
Did you see the American commentary or the...
it was the American commentary.
I thought they did an awesome job. They sold it. Don Callis still slays me to this day. I think him and Kevin Kelly are really good on the commentary, but the way they told the story... and I watched the entire Power Struggle show, 6 hours and 49 minutes of it, and they had talked about it earlier in the night, just kind of, one off. I think Don Callis mentioned something about how... Omega was beefing on Twitter with a lot of people, and then Kevin Kelly kind of slowly went into the story a little bit, and kind of he laid the foundation an hour and a half before it, and then to see that happen, that was really cool, and it got a great reaction from the New Japan crowd. So it's just something different. It's a new opponent for Kenny Omega. It's a new guy for New Japan, even if it's only, like I said, a one-off. It's a fresh face, and it's not a guy that's too old to work and can still put on a really good match. And Jericho has a long history in New Japan too. It's where, and I don't want to say he started, but he was Lionheart Chris Jericho. He was there for many years. And
back in the early 90s. He
yeah,
worked in different
80s,
territories, right? I mean, and I think he worked in Smoky Mountain. He worked in Canada. He worked in Mexico. He worked in Japan. I think he worked in a lot of different places, Germany and stuff like that. So. I think some of the fans are at least familiar with who he was, just based off the reaction that he got. At least people are familiar with who he was. And WWE just has done some shows in Japan as well. I think he may have even worked.
Did he wrestle Brock Lesnar on that show?
It was either Nakamura or Lesnar or something like that they did. I think when they did that Beast in the East,
yes,
that was Lesnar versus Kofi, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was on that show. But so they know who he is. So at least he gets a reaction there, which is good. And I think it's supposed to be Okada versus Naito, right? Is that the...
Yep.
Because Naito has the G1...
As the... Yeah, that's...
Briefcase or whatever it may be.
It's a briefcase, yes.
Yeah. So...
I wonder where they got that idea.
I don't know.
Me neither.
So that was the other interesting thing, I guess, that's happened. So, I mean, kudos to those guys and Jericho for, keeping it under wraps and for them for keeping it a surprise. It should be pretty interesting. It adds a little extra juice to that show. I mean, I know that's their biggest show of the year as it is. So.
And it is for the title. I just looked it up.
Is it?
It says for Omega's IWGP US Heavyweight title, which just makes sense. Jericho's he's a North American guy. United, it still fits the bill. I don't want to go too deep into Power Struggle. That was the show that was, but I thought it was probably one of the best New Japan shows of the year. It set up. I'll just tell you the card for Wrestle Kingdom. Right now, this is your Wrestle Kingdom card. There are 6 matches. Ibushi versus Cody Rhodes for the Ring of Honor World title. I didn't know that was for the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, which is interesting because he's supposed to defend against Dalton Castle at Final Battle, so I guess that's assuming that he retains.
Yeah, they did the thing with Adam Cole where he wrestled Yoshihashi the same way. Roppongi 3K versus the Young Bucks for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles. Marty Scurll versus Takahashi versus Kushida versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Sling Blade, who is Jay White coming back from Excursion, who I'm a big fan of. That's what they call it. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, and of course Okada versus Naito. So I mean that is a stellar top 6 match. And you know what I like? It's so much different than the year before. It's not, as much as I love all the same guys, it's not the regurgitated, They have a fatal 4-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, and they never do 4-way matches. So it'll definitely be something different. And it's, we have, about 2 months away. I'm sure they're going to build another 427 matches for the card before then, and I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe there'll be some 6-man tags.
No. What? 10-man. 10-man tags. That's probably what's going to happen. They had it was like an 8-on-8 match, or it was a 5-on-5 on Power Struggle. And listen, I get trying to get guys in there to get a paycheck, but they kept it to 1, and I'll give them credit. They had 1 4-on-4 match or 1 5-on-5 match. Actually, we're talking. We're jumping all over the place. We're Renaissance men.
Yeah.
Not breaking news, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were sent home from the UK tour. Apparently, I don't know. Have you read much up on the story?
I've read a little bit on it. I don't know. It seems a little ambiguous.
Oh, do some research while I look that up.
Research on.
I mean, do some talking while I research that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Ambiguous. How do you
carry US?
Is there an umlaut?
Yeah. There's one of those,
unclear or inexact because of a choice between alternatives has not been made. Huh. It's a very ambiguous word you used. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. The story, I guess, was in the segment on SmackDown where Kofi beat Sami Zayn in a singles match, that Owens and Zayn were supposed to go back in the ring and I guess get beat up by New Day. And then that was supposed to lead to a tag match the following week on SmackDown. And they did not go back in the ring. They ended up just, I guess, leaving and walking up the ramp and left. So if that's true, no one knows or seems to know whether that was, first it was like, well, they went into business for themselves, but then that doesn't make any sense.
That's what I heard, right.
Then there was some confusion maybe that they didn't know what they were supposed to do or whatever. And then they were told to go home, back to the hotel, and fly home. So I don't know.
Seems like there's a lot more. Listen, there seems like a lot more going on than them missing a spot.
Yeah, it's a little strange. Like the first report said that like they went to business for themselves and they've been unhappy lately because Jimmy Jacobs got fired and Neville left, and they've been unhappy backstage. And I don't know about how that all makes sense because this is probably Zayn's biggest push since he's been on the main roster, and Owens has been a champion for like I don't know how long since he's been up.
It doesn't make sense to me. And
that would be strange. So I don't know. I don't know what the mix-up is or why they were sent home, but that's the rumor. So who knows?
Yeah, there's and then somebody was like, I don't know if they're going to come back ever. I was reading. I'm like, all right, like pump the brakes. Listen, if you ask me, that's like a promotion. Getting sent home from the UK early, not having a.
Yeah, someone's like, oh, well, maybe if ROH can snatch him up. I'm like, what the come on.
Oh, I get it. You're an idiot.
Yeah. They didn't even snatch up Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs is in Impact now.
True.
So
ROH did sign Madison Rayne.
Did they?
Yeah.
She just worked Impact taping like yesterday. Right?
Madison Rayne, or was the other? Oh no, I'm pretty sure.
You're talking about Rain, right? Rain.
Rain, like rain outside.
No, I think there was like a female wrestler named Rain that was previously in ROH and that was making her return. Is that who you're referencing?
No, I'm actually pretty sure.
Is that who you're describing?
Hold on, you're calling me a liar?
No, I'm just asking.
Madison returned, Ring of Honor, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe she's working there. Yeah, I mean, I read spoilers from Impact tapings yesterday, and I think she was in a match. If the report I read was accurate, who knows?
Apparently, Madison Rayne worked in Ring of Honor in 2008 when she defeated Daisy Hayes in a Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, okay.
And then 9 years later, competitor Madison Rayne returns to Ring of Honor to make her official Woman of Honor debut during Survival of the Fittest weekend in Oklahoma City. Huh. Good for them. Like picking up the talent. So,
what were we talking about?
I got some more things on my docket here. I just get right over today. Starcade. Charlotte, where is it? It's in North Carolina, not Charlotte. Greensboro Coliseum. Why is that not on the WWE network? I feel some type of way about this. I think that's going to be what was supposed to be Jinder versus
Nakamura in a cage. Yeah.
Now what? Now what do we get, Joe? What if Andrew gets to get up? Remember that in Breakfast Club? Get up. It'll be anarchy. Like, what do we do now?
I did hear that Ric Flair is supposed to appear at that show. Is that true?
I don't know. Probably. Good. World hasn't seen enough Ric Flair lately. That was a little harsh.
Right? It was a little harsh.
What
did he ever do to you?
I don't know. I just feel like...
He's a nice man. I met him twice.
Ric Flair, I met him too. Ric Flair is a very, very nice guy. But I think he can only go to the well so many times. It's just so weird that you wait until Dusty Rhodes dies and then you use all of his ideas.
You mean Starcade and War Games? You mean those things?
Isn't it? Like, I don't know. I just feel like you didn't use like you had War Games for 20 X amount of years. You didn't use it, and all of a sudden, I don't know. There's some conspiracy theories running through me skull. You know, I did read that Dustin Rhodes is going to be front row for
War Games.
War Games.
Yes, I did read that.
Woo! How does that trickle down to the news? Who gets that news bite and jumps on that? Right? Like Dustin Rhodes is going to sit front row. No shit, he works for the company.
I'd like to sit front row for that. Maybe they should ask us.
Oh, well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I'm not going to sit front row for. Did you look at ticket prices for the Hammerstein Ballroom show in Manhattan Center?
I did not.
Cheapest ticket? $450.
Nice.
Kiss my ass. $450 for the Legend show.
No, I don't feel bad that I didn't look.
No, I looked today. They were up over $1,000 for tickets. I better... No, I'm not going to try to make it a little more PG. But anyway, back to Starcade. Yeah, I'm going... Ooh, the Starbucks that I go to, they brew me my own coffee. They don't give me They do what's called the pour-over. So I get fresh brewed coffee right there. That hits you. That hits you hard, buddy. I'm telling you. Starcade, to me... being a guy that grew up watching NWA and WCW, I always loved Starcade. I was too young for the original ones, but every year, you're watching Starcade. It's a big show, and they have great talent, great matches on there. So when they said they were going to bring it back, I was so pumped about it. And then you have Tony Schiavone. Did you see the promo that Tony Schiavone cut?
I heard about it, but I didn't.
It was awesome. Why are you giving this much time to a show that you're not going to like? Why would you not put that on the network? I can watch Ride Along with Baron Corbin, but I can't watch a Starcade pay-per-view. That sucks.
Sometimes Ride Along's not. Those aren't bad.
Anything Baron Corbin does is bad.
I didn't see the one with Corbin.
I don't even know if he's on it.
He might not. I don't know that he is. But
you could do a table for three. You could put Corbin, Mojo Rawley, and Ellsworth. And I would still think Corbin's the worst part of that. While we're talking about things that the WWE has ripped from the cold, hard grasp of the recently deceased Dusty Rhodes, they're bringing back War Games.
They are.
Which, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm a big War Games guy, again, being an NWA, WCW guy. And how do you feel? That's a train. It's a train that's coming. How do you feel about, the build for it? Because did you watch NXT this week yet?
Not the one from yesterday.
Okay, I just watched the one from yesterday.
And that's the one with Cole versus Roddy.
Right, and it kind of felt like a go-home show to War Games. So it's going to be a little weird to see what they do next week. But, Authors of Pain, Roderick Strong, how do you feel about it? I want your opinions on the War Games. Actually, my question is to you, maybe, does it feel forced? Like they just had to use the War Games and they threw these guys in there?
I think that it probably could have used a little bit more time to build up to War Games if you're doing a three-way feud, which I guess is what this is. So, yeah, if you're going to build up to that type of match, then sure, I would have probably preferred a longer, maybe like more of a 4 to 6 month build up as opposed to like a 2 month build up that they've been doing.
Like a real payoff to like a blood feud kind of deal.
Yeah.